All right. Aloha and welcome to those of you who are watching this in the future. This is another one of our Paradigm Shift Central Conscious Creator work periods that we're doing for today, August 26th. And of course, I am joined by some fellow amazing creators. So fellow amazing creators, you guys can just like wave to the camera and be like, hello, we love you. Hello, hello. Beautiful. Awesome. Sweet. Thank you so much. We've got Luna, we've got Kristen, we've got Justine, and we've got Brianna with us. And a couple more people are going to be joining in the next little bit. So with this meeting, what we're going to be doing today, we're going to be going over a couple things. We're going to be talking about Patreon. I want to be able to just kind of get your guys' feedback where you are with your Patreon, because I want to be able to help you get things rolling with that. And also we'll talk a little bit about TikTok tactics. And to start things off, we're also just going to be talking about relative things such as the big broadcast that we got coming up at the time of this recording. Though if you're listening to this in the future, you could probably just skip past the beginning. So starting off with that, August 27th, hooray, August 27th, we made it, the day that the prophecy is foretold for however long that crazy, like, trendy rumor thing has been around for. I don't even know how that started. But anyways, the context-wise, August 27th, for whatever reason on TikTok, a bunch of people just started making videos talking about how it's like some like big date. And so obviously we don't really know exactly what, if anything, is going to happen, but the way I see it, it's an opportunity for us to be able to make things happen. And so that's why we're going to be doing our special Envisioning the Future global community panel and global meditation event. And coincidentally, like, the broadcast is already synced up with our regular Thursday podcast. And so that was very convenient. I'm glad the universe planned that out. We didn't even have to change anything. So hurrah there. And so leading up to the broadcast there, I'm just going to talk about this for a minute. Again, I was just encouraging you guys to be able to promote it. Really promote it in whatever way you feel called to promote it. Like, honestly, like, I know one way I was talking about, I made some graphics. Some of you, I've sent those graphics to through Instagram, through direct messaging. If you haven't gotten those yet, if you're watching this in the future, you can get that. That's, again, kind of a graphic with the text up top. And then, like, some people were kind of like sitting underneath meditating. Other people were like dancing. I don't know if you saw Natasha, like, she was like throwing it down hardcore, just bringing the energy, bringing attention to the information about the event and letting people know. And again, just kind of extending the invite through our individual platforms. You can promote it that way. So if you want those graphics, let me know. But at the same time, even if you just literally just make a video of you talking to the camera, that's a great way to do it too. And then use the tiny URL link. That's tinyurl.com AUG 27 shift. So that's like the small URL. So you could always just plug that into the info. You're welcome to tag me in the event, tell people it's going to be plugged into my profile. Going up to tomorrow, again, I encourage you guys, if you want, even just put up one more post in some form or another to be able to let people know. Leading into the actual event, like within like a half hour leading into the event, one thing I would encourage you guys to do, if you have access to this ability, whether it be on TikTok or other platforms, you could literally go live on your individual platform stream. So for example, Luna, you could go live on your TikTok. And then what you could do is you could put the broadcast link into your profile link and then just kind of have it there like as a secondary, where you'll be on the Zoom call with us. And then as people are kind of tuning in on your TikTok live or whatever platform you guys are on, you can just be like, hey guys, like, we're just about to get ready for our global meditation. Click the link in my profile and tune in on YouTube. And then you're just kind of directing people over to the YouTube. So that's one thing that we usually do with podcasts and everything like that, to be able to help get people synced up. Just as a quick overview, and then we're going to move right into the Patreon things, unless there's any questions about this. First of all, I did just make a new video that I just posted to TikTok. If you guys after this get a chance, please go to my profile and just kind of hype it up, tag it, like post in the comments or whatever, get some engagement going there. And the other thing is just kind of the basic format. Excuse me, the basic format for those of you, again, who may be listening to this in the future. Basically what it's going to be kind of like regular format for our Synergy Circle, in the sense that it's going to start off with a little meditation at the beginning. And then we're going to create this discussion panel where we're going to practice going around the circle, and we're going to practice talking about envisioning our future. We're going to practice kind of sharing, what do we want the world to look like? What do we want the world to look like from like a spiritual perspective, from a cultural perspective, from a holistic perspective, from an environmental perspective? I don't exactly know where the conversation is going to go, but the intention there is, again, for us to be able to cultivate, you know, envisioning the inspiration for the future that we're moving into, and kind of like be able to like merge the timeline, so to speak, to be able to like fold the future in with the present. That's kind of the idea, you know, regular stuff, no big deal. And then from there, what we'll do is eventually we'll get into the meditation. So the community panel, that will probably go for maybe probably like an hour, maybe a little bit longer. Fortunately, people will be aware of this. So if people are waiting for the meditation, they won't be like, oh, where's the meditation? It's like, well, it's a community panel first, then it's a meditation. But then the meditation itself, what I'm going to do, I still have to meditate on how to be able to facilitate the meditation, but I'm going to kind of like lead it and end it. So I'll create like a bookend system on it. We've done other co-created meditations before, but what I want to be able to do, and you guys can kind of let me know how you feel about collaborating with this, is kind of like creating a meditation and then kind of within the meditation, passing the talking stick off to you guys as you kind of like practice kind of like going with the vibe of the meditation and just inviting people to like envision bringing forth like messages of inspiration, and then again using kind of like the cadence and the tone that matches the vibe of the meditation. So it'd probably be like, you know, like I'll kind of lead in and then we pass it to one person, and it would just kind of be, you know, like 5 minutes of them talking, and then 5 minutes another person, 5 minutes another person, and then lo and behold that meditation would probably go between like 30 minutes to 45 minutes. And that's kind of the basic idea. So it is a bit experimental, but again, with the right container, I think it would be really, really cool and just a really, really powerful vision for the community to be able to see all of us coming together once again as again, you know, co-facilitating this broadcast. That's the basic information related to the broadcast coming up. And again, that's at 8 p.m. EST. The Zoom link, I'm going to have that ready for you guys. I'm asking you guys to even join like a half hour early if you're able to. That way, so we can just kind of like go over things ahead of time and make sure everybody's in place. It's kind of like getting ready for, you know, it's like doing like a drama show or something like that. It's like, all right, we're like backstage getting our makeup on and going over our lines and stuff. It feels like that, honestly. It's exciting. And there will, I don't know exactly what the turnout's going to be, but I think there's actually going to be a fair decent amount of us in the panels. How many, we'll see. Related to the broadcast, does anybody have any questions or feelings or like anything that they kind of like feel they want to talk about right now? Just let me know. Any feedback on that? Justine, go ahead.
I've actually done this type of group meditation, like sort of like passing the talking stick, as people say before, and I think it works really, really well in general, and especially in a community like this one where we have so many people who do have a history of their own meditative practice. I just think it's going to go really well, and I'm excited about it. That's all I wanted to say.
Perfect. Yeah. And like some of you haven't seen this, but like we have done meditations where we have done this format where we kind of like set it up, pass it off. This time it's just going to be like a little bit shorter. Like Kristen and Brianna, both of you guys have done on that, whereas like you guys were like leading meditation for like 15, 20 minutes, but this time it's just going to be like a short little thing. So even you can let me know ahead of time if you're just like, yes, I would like to volunteer for a little bit, you know, a little portion of the meditation. But part of it will also almost kind of be like giving people the opportunity to decide on the fly. You know, as we get closer to the meditation within the broadcast, some people will just kind of be like, okay, like who wants, like, we'll figure this out as we go, hands up. And then once we kind of lock it in, we'll get right into it, sort of thing. But one of the things I'm going to kind of be working with, I kind of like that idea of kind of like, yeah, like envisioning the future and then kind of like folding it back into the present. So like feeling the future that's already there. So in this sense, like a lot of people have kind of talked about this August 27th, like we literally can kind of like merge the timelines through this visualization process and through this process of just actualizing it by communicating it in a group. So yeah, okay. So any other things on that? You guys want to mention who here, okay, with a thumbs up, who here would be interested in leading within like a little bit of the meditation for tomorrow? Justine, Kristen, Brianna, and Luna. Okay, cool. Awesome. That's great. Yeah, again, with that, so you guys have first dibs. You guys have already volunteered. After that, we'll kind of have to play it out because at some point there will have to be a cap. I won't be able, you know, unless it's like literally like 20 people just like doing this back-to-back meditation, that'll be exhausting. But again, with the... I haven't fully decided what we're going to be doing because like the full moon's going to be right around the corner as well. And we usually do like the global meditation on the full moon. So I'm like, do we do another one? If anything, and this is just a side note, I think the full moon, if anything, we might turn it into just kind of like a chill, and we might even that might be our dance party. That might be our dance party sing-along night or something like that. I haven't fully planned it, but I feel like we're due for just like a chill night without too much production going into it. So anyways, okay, just adding in Oleg right now, and that's good because we're just about to get into the Patreon here. So, okay, so moving into the Patreon stuff, we're gonna get right into that. Oleg, we just went over the information about tomorrow's broadcast for the meditation. If you want to go check out the recording, you can do that as well, just to be able to get up to speed on that. But just encouraging people to spread the word, invite, and if they're able to tune in, let me know. Okay, so remind me here, how many people here are like in the process of like learning more about Patreon and or creating a Patreon? Put their hand up if you don't mind. So okay, all right, and Luna, you're still pretty new to it. Okay, so again, basic recap again. Patreon is one option amongst many for us as entrepreneurs that we can use to be able to help develop regenerative income as well as build community. And that's really the value of it, you know? So like as creators, for those of us who are really moving into this space where it's like, this isn't just a hobby, like this is something that I feel really devoted to. If you're feeling that call, then know that there is a reality where you are supported in that. You wouldn't be feeling that call unless the universe wasn't capable of supporting you in that process. So again, Patreon is a very, very powerful way where you can invite people to be able to contribute monthly contributions. And then as a result of that, get access to exclusive benefits and rewards within your community. Obviously that you're familiar with how I have my Patreon set up. That's how you guys become leading members. And so again, with Patreon, I really want to be able to invite you guys to begin visualizing and feeling into what type of value you can create, as well as what type of community you would be comfortable leading and what that would look like. And then to get an idea of the different tiers that you can have with your Patreon. Some of it would be lower end tiers, and then some of it would be higher end tiers, and to not shy away from having the higher end tiers, especially if it's offering like one-on-one consultation or one-on-one, you know, like tarot readings, monthly oracle, monthly consultation, monthly type stuff, where you can kind of customize it to people in a format that would be like kind of like coaching, but you don't have to call it coaching. If anything, I would encourage you to kind of refrain from calling it life coaching, because that's something that requires like an official certification. Kristen, you're aware of this. So that's like something that if you're doing it, don't call it life coaching, because that's not what you are unless you're technically certified. But you can say, you know, like this is a chance for me to be able to do like oracle reading, tarot reading, one-on-one session, guided meditation, whatever it is that you feel comfortable to do. You guys just have to make sure that it's something that you're confident in doing. And then within the Patreon, again, like the things that you can do, you can provide exclusive content, exclusive videos. What those videos may be, that's something that we can kind of brainstorm together as a team. And the other thing that I'll just mention real quick is also the process of creating a community space. And the community space, I would recommend utilizing a Discord, opposed to doing something like using, say, a Facebook group. Facebook, again, just not enough people are really engaged with it. Your notifications get lost in the crowd. Not that you can't have a Facebook group, but in the end, I just don't think the Facebook group is going to be as versatile as a Discord server in the future. And so with the Discord server, again, like that's where you can kind of organize things, similar to how you see ours. That's where you can have your announcements listed, and that's where you can allow people to be able to engage. And then you can do it, you can literally do it in a similar way where people can join on a public level, get an idea to see the space, and then as they join on the Patreon, you can give them access to the full level. I want to be able to offer you guys the option to, you can invite me to help you with creating your Discord. So basically what this would do, you would create the initial Discord, and then you add me, and then basically you would just like add me as an admin, and I could literally like set up the channels, set up the roles, and just kind of like make it super easy for you, because I've done it enough. I could do it in like 5 minutes, something that would take you like, you know, like more than, you know, it might take you a little bit of time, but I would teach you how to do it at the same time. But that way, so you can at least get things set up. The main thing I want to mention here is, don't make your Discord entirely for free. Do not do that. Do not do that, and be very mindful of what you're offering for people in totally like this like completely for free basis. Because if you're just giving so much away for free, that kind of hurts you in the long run, because people will actually like kind of like devalue it. They will actually just be like, oh, like this is free, like okay, like maybe I'll tune in, maybe I won't tune in. But if people contribute to something, if they're already invested, you're helping them, because you're helping them put their skin in the game, so to speak. So if someone's paying like, you know, $20 a month to be involved with something, they will more likely to be able to show up. Plus, with the Discord, it's important to make sure that the people who are there are the people that are going to be like really respecting the intention of the space. If you do have a public channel within your Discord, again, if you do have a public channel within your Discord, maybe just have it to limited functions, but do not give them the full access to the chat, because that's just going to be a pain in the ass, especially if you're inviting in a lot of people, and then you're going to have to like create a job where you're having to like moderate it. So example, like for Luna, you have an account on TikTok. There's like almost like 70,000 people that are following you on TikTok. If you were to create a Discord and suddenly just be like, hey everyone, come into my Discord, that would probably be pretty popular. A lot of people would be like, ooh, this is what I want, this is what I want. And then lo and behold, what happens there, because I've seen this happen. I've seen this happen multiple times. If you bring in a a rush of people into the Discord, without the structure, it will implode. Like, it will literally implode. It won't last more than 2 weeks. The big thing that you want with a Discord is to be able to position yourself in a place of leadership, and then to be able to create routines and schedules. Your routines and schedules are going to be the most important thing that are going to keep people coming back to the Discord. Otherwise, your Discord is going to feel just like some other random chat that they've joined before, that they don't really care about, and they don't really understand what it's about, and they don't know who the people are, and they're there, but then they're gone. You need to make sure that whatever you're building as a community, that there is an emotional connection between yourself and the members. And that emotional connection is developed by you positioning yourself in a place of leadership, by you positioning yourself in a place of authority, and by you positioning yourself in a place of like expertise, so to speak. Now, with this, again, what you want to be able to do is you want to be able to create like a schedule where you could be doing like live tarot readings, or you could be doing custom Zoom calls, where you could be hosting that like small space for people. And then you could even record those, post them up online. And that's part of the value of your Patreon, where you could literally have like your Patreon is offering like privately hosted Zoom calls. Again, similar to what we're doing here, but you can kind of format it within your own way. Eventually, if you want to get a little bit more advanced, I can help you with learning how to be able to rebroadcast your Zoom calls into the public. Again, similar format to what we're doing, where the people who are on your Patreon supporters are the ones who can join on the Zoom calls, but other than that, everybody can watch, but they can't join into the Zoom call. So that's where within your Discord, you could have that private channel where for us, we have that channel where it says exclusive information for leading members. Only leading members can see that. Public can't see that. So that's way easier for me to be able to get information out there. Using the Discord for me is basically like, again, back in the day, it would have been having to send out emails to people and stuff like that. Emails don't really work anymore. I'm sorry. They're just not consistent. You have no idea of knowing whether or not it's going to land in the spam inbox. You need to be able to create a routine where you are passing the filters of an inbox and passing the algorithms by creating a routine where people are creating the habit within themselves to check the Discord manually. And they'll do that once they start getting a feel for the routine. Oh, what? Every Thursday we have a team broadcast? Okay, I'm going to check. Oh, what? Every Monday we know the new information about the broadcast is going up? Okay. And I know we got these team work periods. And so you just keep that engagement. And with the Discord, and again, we can talk more about this later, start it off simple. Don't have too many channels. If you have too many channels, you're spreading out the focus. And if you spread out the focus, then it actually begins to dilute it. So even for Kristen, I know you've got your Discord set up and everything like that. You may want to consider, Kristen, almost creating, like, if you want to, literally creating like a brand new Discord that could be a little bit more refined, so to speak. Because right now yours is, again, it's this public channel. Right now it's pretty much free. It's great. It's been great practice for you. It's been great engagement. But if you're creating one specifically for your patrons, instead of having to just redo the one you currently got, you could literally just create a new one and start it off very simple, and then add to it as you go and just keep it very concise, and allow you to get into the idea where you can organize it. And then again, if you want to, you can begin kind of privately inviting the people into your Discord space to be able to help create that momentum. The last thing I'll say here, and then we're just going to start passing around. I'd love to get your guys' thoughts on if you feel Discord is going to be something that's going to work for you. I do recommend it. I think it's incredibly powerful for being able to get people engaged, build community, and create that consistency and that engagement for broadcast. The one thing that I would encourage is to intentionally put a lot of focus on building that first inner circle. This is a very powerful practice that I learned from even through like physical community events, where basically that first group of people, like that first 10 group of people, they're like, imagine if you're going to like an event, like a festival or something like that. This is like actually me talking from experience. So there's like this little, like, it wasn't even like a festival, but it was like this private land that these people were like inviting people up to. And me and Lacey, we went up there a couple days earlier. When we went up there earlier, there was only about a dozen of us. But those dozen of us, we were the ones who set everything up. We set the tone, we set the foundation, we organized things, we got things in place. And then hundreds of other people began showing up. But because we were there to begin with, we were that first inner circle, we were able to set the tone. And then as people joined, they were able to follow our lead. We were able to address any questions. And then that allowed the continued kind of like intention of the space to be able to unfold. again, opposed to creating a Discord and just being like, let's invite 100 people. And then you have 100 new people joining in and no one's really sure about the intention of the space and no one's really leading it or things like that. It's going to implode. It just will. It's just a shit show waiting to happen, so to speak. So again, having that first inner circle is very powerful. And that's where with the Discord and with the Patreon, you guys have seen me, I've worked with a similar model. If you feel that there are people who you genuinely feel would be a good fit for your community, you have the option to be able to send out a personal invite to them and be able to say like, hey, look, we're building this private community space. I think you would be a good fit for it. You're welcome to be involved, with the understanding that when you feel called to or when you feel ready, you can join the Patreon when it works for you type thing. So again, opposed to saying it like this expectation where it's like, oh, like no, you can just stay here completely for free. Like it's up to you what type of relationship you create, but you don't want to create this model where someone's just kind of like leeching off the benefit of the space. Again, it's going to be different depending on the relationship you have with that person, but ideally you want there to be a clear communication where the person's like, yo, like, I'm really grateful for you inviting me in, and yeah, I'll join the Patreon when I can. And maybe I'll join the Patreon tonight. Maybe, you know, it's going to be different for different people. But if you know that there are people who you feel would be a good fit, and whether like you create some sort of agreement with them, but you're just like, hey, want to come into this space and help me create it, you can make that invite. But again, finding that first group of that inner circle is going to be powerful. And again, absolutely, it can be people who are already in our team. Like, that's the thing, guys. Like, everything that I've created within this community and these formats and things like that, like, I want you guys to succeed. So if I've created a model that works for what we're doing, if you can mimic it and do it in a way that's going to work for your unique niche and your unique community and everything like that, please, by all means, do it. Because if it can work here, it can work there. And ultimately, it's about being able to create the space that's going to provide value to more people in the community. And the more we kind of create our circles and expand our branches, the more we're helping people, the more we're accelerating the shift. And that's ultimately, again, just keeping in mind, what is our why? Our why is genuinely to help people and accelerate the shift in consciousness, right? It's not just we're making money. We're building regenerative income so that we can continue to do that. So again, really focusing on creating value. And then at the same time, the other part of this, and I'll just say this and we'll pass it around, is emphasizing the value of creating a consistent heartbeat and presence of yourself on social media. Basically, what this means is that every time you're putting yourself on TikTok or you're doing a live broadcast or you're creating a YouTube video, that is you promoting yourself. That is your advertisement, because that is you demonstrating your value. So really put emphasis into that. Try to avoid just doing videos where they're half-assed. Not saying don't do them if it's like raw and emotional. That's okay. You can do that. But don't do videos that are kind of like half-assed, because people will look at you and they'll be like, oh, I guess your value is half-assed too. And that will instantly, it only takes one of those for people to be like, no thanks, not for me type thing, right? So every single video that shows up, you really want it to be a reflection and invitation of the value that you are providing, both in the content through TikTok or Instagram and the content within your inner circle. So make it as dope as possible, as awesome as possible. And then those people are going to be like, yo, this person is hype. I would love to be able to work with them in an inner circle, in a more one-to-one connection. So you're really, really building that relationship just through the content that you're creating. And then the other thing I would say is, even within your content on TikTok, if you feel you even want to go back and even set some videos to private, go ahead. I would encourage you to avoid creating content that is like designed to spark drama. Not to say don't talk about important issues, but if you're doing something and it's like generating a lot of like contrasting views in the comments, really reflect, like, is this a space? Is this necessary? Is this a space for it? Or how could I do it in another way? But try not to create that place where eventually your TikTok or your platform becomes like this, like, again, like this social like discord of just like arguments going back and forth like that, because that reflects on you. It reflects on the space that you're creating. And if your comments on your TikTok are kind of like that, then like, you know, how do I feel about joining your private community as well? So that's where other thing with TikTok and everything like that, you are, I'll say this before, and again, I hope this is all valuable for you guys because I'm speaking from my heart here, but you decide who your content is for. You decide who your content is for. So if there are people who come onto your page and they are leaving antagonistic comments, or they are leaving comments that are just like being, you know, inappropriate or anything like that, honestly, either delete the comment, right away or block the person right away. There are a million users on TikTok, so forth and so on. And even if you check if they left a comment, if you see the comment and it doesn't say follow back, that means they probably just dropped in there, took a shit and ran away, right? So they're probably not, you don't even want them to come back at that point. So just block them. Like the odds of them ever finding you again are probably like, you know, unlikely, but even if they did, you don't want them to, and they wouldn't even know. They won't even know if you block them type thing. They'll never see you again, and it's okay. There's a bunch of other people that they'll be able to go and interact with as well. So for me, for my content, even like on a regular basis, I go through my comments. Not only am I looking to engage, but I'm also looking to clean shit up. You know, like think of your social media platform as your sacred temple. So if people come into your sacred temple and they're leaving dirt all over the place and they're leaving their garbage, what would you do? You would probably have to clean up for them, and you would just say like, hey, that's not what we do here. Please leave type thing. Or, you know, or you try and instruct them. But then again, that's up to you, because sometimes that's going to be like a fight that's not even worth fighting type thing. Because some people they already got their minds made up. So that's where, again, out of respect for your community and your future interactions, block and bless. Delete comments, block people, especially if you're going viral, especially again, if you have a larger audience, just create that regular habit and it will save you energy in the long run. So even if there's like a comment where it's like, oh God, like someone's like, why do you do this? I think you're stupid. Like, just block it, just delete it. It's not worth your energy to engage. And I know we kind of have that impulse where like, I have to defend myself, but it will feel better in the long run for you to be able to be like, I pick and choose to put my focus towards the people who resonate with my content. Just because there are people who are talking shit about your content doesn't mean your content is shit. It just means it's not for them. And you know that there are going to be millions of other people who will get your content. Focus on them. Focus on them. That's what you want to be able to do. That's going to save you less stress. It's just going to help you build things up in the long run. And again, and same thing goes for your Discord. And this is why on your Discord, as you create it, your guidelines, your community guidelines are going to be incredibly important. Feel free to take a look at our guidelines. They're basically the obvious stuff. Don't be rude, be polite. Don't put in inappropriate comments and things like that. And you can even create it in a way where, again, if people like are engaging in your Discord, you have the power to like block and delete them right away. You know, like don't even hold space for that at all. But like that's an act of love for your community. The community comes before the individual, period. The community comes before the individual. If there are people within your community who go against your community guidelines, such as the simple one of be polite and respectful to each other, meaning if they say something to you that is rude, they have instantly crossed that guideline and they have made the choice for you to block them, and block them on all platforms if you have to. Like, again, I've had to do this. Like, despite my best interest, every now and then there's going to be people, and for whatever reason, they just don't get along with me. But honestly, quite frankly, the fact that they don't get along with me, I'm glad that they show that to me sooner rather than later. And then I'm like, okay, cool, sweet. You made this decision for me. I wish you all the best. Good luck. You know, and I try not to take it personally, and then you move on, you put your focus back to the community and the people who are going to, you know, resonate well with the content you're creating. So that's kind of the overview. Again, I talked obviously about Patreon, about TikTok, about Discord. The other thing I'll mention is the importance of going live. Going live on your platforms is so incredibly valuable, because that's where you're going to build your one-to-one relationships with people. That's where you're going to really be able to communicate your value. And that's where you're going to be able to invite people back to your Patreon. So make sure you got your Patreon link in your profile, like in your link tree. And even with the Patreon, you don't have to have everything set up all right away. You can open it up in phases. So you can say, like, once we get 20 people, then phase 2 will be unlocked. And then that's when we start doing our weekly broadcasts or weekly Zoom calls. But in phase 1, you can kind of say, like, this is where, okay, we're just getting started. I might have some private videos. And then eventually we have the Discord. You can open it up in phases. You can kind of open it up in phases and give people the chance to upgrade as you go. You don't have to have all of Patreon ready to go at once. But again, when you're live, focus on providing value, be it through Q&A, be it through Oracle readings. You guys have seen me where I've literally done this thing where I do tarot readings, and then I'm like, okay, like, let's do tarot readings and work on our Patreon science. Echo that format. That's a powerful format. That format works better if you're on TikTok and YouTube at the same time. So go live from your webcam on YouTube, engage with the YouTube chat, and the TikTok or the Facebook is inviting people over to the YouTube. And even for like, and again, you know, like I know Brianna, they usually focus on Facebook a lot and everything like that. Brianna, it may be something where you might kind of want to start migrating over to YouTube. But again, create this condition where instead of just being like, hey, I'm just going to do 1,000,000 free readings, which is great. And not to say you can't do that, and not to say it doesn't work that way. What if you create the condition where you're providing value, and then again, you say like, okay, next reading will be for the next person who signs up for the Patreon, and then you create this condition, and then people are signing up for the Patreon, and then again, you can even have it where it's like, and when you sign up for the Patreon, maybe we do like monthly one-on-one readings as well. So you're kind of like saying, hey, this is what it can be like when we're doing a reading on air, but if you want to do a private reading, go ahead and join my Patreon. And again, even if you're just doing Q&A on TikTok, you can still use as an opportunity to be able to do like, you know, just like talking to people and then just be like, hey, like value. And then from that, just be like, hey, and by the way, guys, if you really enjoy what I'm doing and you want to connect with me further on one-on-one, the invitation is there. Click the link in my profile, join in on Patreon. And we got a really cool event coming up this Thursday. So I'd love if you guys were there before then, you know, and kind of like get things hyped up, have that routine, have that thing so they don't feel, so they kind of have that additional enticement, be like, ooh, there's something coming up, I want to be a part of it type thing. So that routine, all of it creates this ecosystem. It's all very, very, very powerful. But yeah, going live on your content is very, very important. And don't shy away from inviting people to your Patreon. And I know for some of you, that's going to be a thing where it's going to be like, oh, like I have trouble in asking people for money and things like that. No, like I'm a spiritual person, I can't do that. Everyone's told me it's wrong and stuff like that. Here's the difference. Here's how you get over this. This has been a big shift for me. It is the difference between asking people for money or whatever and inviting them to be a part of something. When you are asking people to contribute or something like that, you are actually unconsciously coming from a place of lack. Whether or not you are consciously doing it, maybe you aren't, but usually it's kind of like this thing where it's just kind of like, be like, hey guys, like really got to pay my bills this month. Please sign up for my Patreon. Like that's not very attractive. Not to say it's honest. It's genuinely honest and things like that. But it's not really going to be something that people are going to be like, oh shit, like I'm going to sign up for this person out of pity. Like is that the relationship that you want? Like no, you want to focus on owning your value and act as if you already got like 50 people already signed up for your Patreon. You are confident. You know that you got value that you're going to provide. And then again, you are inviting them. You can say like, hey guys, here's my value. Here's my dope content. Here's my video. You guys have seen me showing up. Let's work further together. This is an invitation, not just for you to support me, but for you to receive that support for yourself. So make it, again, kind of getting into that mindset. You guys hear me talk about this, where it's like the different, you know, kind of getting them into that mindset where it's like the same reason people would pay to go to a gym for a monthly membership, or the same reason they would go to the grocery store to buy good food. Get them into the mindset that by them being a part of your community, it is an investment for themselves, and it will help them level up. It will help give them the value of connecting with community and being in that very, very powerful space that will support them and literally change their life. And that's what you're doing. You're not selling anything. You're not selling them on anything that isn't true. You're literally just inviting them to be a part of it and knowing that the right people who resonate with that will find it. But you have to be an ambassador for that message. That's going to take a little bit of practice. It's going to take a little bit of familiarity. But again, you know, even just by watching me, I hope it gives you an example of what that can look like. And then you guys kind of find your own way of being able to do that. There was probably something else I was trying to think about, but oh crap, what was I going to say? Oh, it's so close. What was it? I was going to say something. I forget what it was. Okay, that's all right. We'll have to come back to it later. So I think that's enough for you guys just to be able to work with for the time being. And I hope that gives you kind of like a bit of a framework for what you can do. So again, you know, create your Patreon, let me know, create the basis of it. And then again, focus on quality content. Your quality content is a direct advertisement for your Patreon, so more people can learn about the value you're providing and be able to connect further. And then eventually create your Discord sooner rather than later. Keep it simple, and you can ask me to be able to help you with setting that up. Whatever. I know there was something else, but I'll come back to it later. I want to hear from you guys. Let me know. We'll take this meeting a little bit longer because that took me more than I expected to be able to explain. But you guys let me know. How was that? Did that make sense? Was that valuable? Does that give you some good ideas? If someone wants to go, just give me a hands up and you guys can let me know. Justine wants to go, but can we pass it to Luna first? Then that way, okay. All right, Luna, go ahead. You can unmute your microphone and let us any feedback and thoughts. Go ahead.
Hi guys. I just want to say thank you for this community, you know, for building this. It's funny that you mentioned the live, you know, because I never have been live on TikTok, you know, and so I'm probably going to do it tomorrow with the meditation. And I don't know if I'm going to do the Patreon just yet. I mean, I'm sure, you know, I have things to offer like we all do, but I do get a lot of DMs where it's people just asking me for advice. This has been going on my whole life. I'm just somebody that people just spill their whole heart out to without me even saying anything. And so they ask me for advice, and I'm just giving that advice for free, you know. And so maybe it would be something, maybe like a tarot reading, like you said, that I can do to help people in that way. So thank you for your advice. I really appreciate it.
Cool. Awesome. No, thank you as well, Luna. And yeah, I agree, right? Like, even if, you know, people come to you with a question, you can be like, hey, like, here's like a little bit of advice. If you'd like to go further, the offer's there. Send them a link to your services or something like that. Or it can be like a direct like PayPal transfer or something like that. Or you can just, again, kind of invite them, be like, yeah, like, I'd love to dive in deeper with you through a tarot reading, through a one-on-one tarot reading. Here's what I offer. And again, you could even provide it as a sliding scale. It's up to you, right? So you can make those options. But again, you guys will know, again, the model that I'm talking about, this is just kind of a general basis, but obviously you will tweak it based on the needs of your community and based on your own personal styles and preference and things like that. Not all of you are going to feel like, hey, I want to organize an entire community and be responsible for a Discord and do all the Zoom calls. That's okay. That's okay. But if you're just like, I'm going to, you know, focus on doing like one-on-one individual type things, that can still work for you. And then you do a bunch of those in a time, and it builds up. Again, the value with building the Patreon, and even if you create it, Luna, where you could make it so that like people can get that like first like one-on-one reading even when they sign up for your Patreon type thing. And then even as they sign up for your Patreon, that could be like, again, you know, they sign up for like $30-$40 a month, and then that could be like one reading each and every single month. Or again, you can expand it. You can have tiers where there could be like $100 level where it could be like 2 readings a month, or it could be like a session where it'd be like a combination of like meditation or just reflection or something like that. But the value again of the Patreon is that you shift from this place where if through the Patreon, it's the regenerative income and you're building it. And suddenly you've got an extra $300 a month, and then an extra $500, and then an extra $1,000. So you're kind of thinking a little bit further ahead, opposed to just doing it always with like the one-to-one contributions and things like that, because then it's always like every single month you're just like, okay, I got to make 20 of these. I got to get 20 of these readings. And that can get exhausting. Not to say it doesn't work. It's up to you to kind of like set your value, but the Patreon, if you can kind of, with Luna, you can kind of take what you're offering and still combine it into the Patreon. And then if you want to expand the Patreon later, but there could be that possibility there to do the one-on-one stuff as a result of them joining on the Patreon. And then again, you get that regenerative income building up. So yeah.
Awesome.
So yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Thank you, Luna. And welcome again. Luna's one of our newer leading members, and thank you, Luna.
Yay! Thank you.
Cool. All right. Okay. We'll keep passing the talking stick around. Who else just wants to give me some feedback? Again, you guys can kind of let me know, like, where are you at with your Patreon? What questions do you have? Where do you feel you might have some blockages? Let me know. Justine, we'll pass it over to you next.
Sure. Thank you so much. These are always such valuable conversations, and I'm always so grateful to be here. And I always have lots of questions. So anytime that you want to pick someone else first, please go ahead and do that, because I will question you and question. I just can't turn it off. My mom jokes that my favorite word has been why since basically I started talking. So anyway, what I wanted to ask today, based on everything you said, I think some of us have a lot more experience than maybe I do with content creation. And I would love to hear any words of wisdom on like attributes that differentiate like good content versus maybe not bad content, but content that reads as like lazy or less well done, less professional, because I just don't really know what I'm doing. I'm winging it as of now. So I would love any wisdom you have on, you know, how you identify that quality content.
Cool. Yeah, I'll hit upon that for starters. Because last week we did do a meeting all about TikTok. No, you weren't in. Were you in on that one? That was Wednesday last week. There may be stuff there. Even just go back and check that out because it may be more than what I just mentioned here. But one thing I know I kind of mentioned it there, but I'll mention it specifically here. The most important thing when it comes to creating content is to talk about the things that you are excited about. So create a list of the things that you're excited about, create a list of the things that have influenced your journey, that have taught you some sort of lesson, something that's inspired you. It could be a lesson from another teacher or something like that, but focus on the things that you're excited about and then bring your excitement into that, because your excitement will be more notable than any specific editing or text or music or anything like that. It's the energy that you bring into it. So I think just being conscious of that, and then again, just kind of creating like a list of like, okay, you know, like what's like 5 topics that I would be most excited to be able to make a video about. And then even then you could literally make it exciting for yourself by creating like a series where it's like, okay, I'm going to make a series like all about, let's talk about the 7 chakras and let's make an individual video for each one. Other people have done that. That's cool. That's okay. But there's a million people who haven't seen those videos. So you can still be an ambassador for that information as well, right? So that would be kind of my first step, is to find the things that you're excited about. And then as you start filming those, be aware of how you can bring that excitement into it, and then kind of start getting into like the additional editing. Obviously with the editing and with the production, the simple things. Good lighting, that's always very important. Even within TikTok actually favors videos that have better lighting. If you can invest in some sort of additional light, do that. Otherwise, what you can also use is like even windows. Film in front of windows, get natural lighting. I do this in a lot of my videos. You'll see in some videos, my eyes are actually like brighter in some videos. That's the natural sunlight. That's what the sunlight does. It actually illuminates your eyes a little bit differently. Utilize windows. They will look different from just a regular light. Crazy, simple thing. Other things, making eye contact with the camera. A lot of people do this. They'll be like filming with their thing and they'll be watching themselves. And for the people watching, it's obvious, right? So like make sure that whatever you're doing, when you're filming with your phone, you're looking at the camera, because again, that's going to literally create that connection. That's a little thing like there. And then again, even with TikTok and things like that, make it a little bit of a variety where you're doing like the 1-minute videos and the 15-second videos. The 15-second videos, those can be ones that can be very thought out, but at the same time, the 15-second videos can really just be ones that you're just kind of making on the fly, that can be kind of like something that you make when you don't have time to even do a longer video, but you want to keep that heartbeat going. What you can actually do for those, I see a lot of people do this. Aura Vibin, one of our team members, she does this a lot. And we were talking about this, which should be like, yeah, like there's some days where I'm just like, I'm too busy. I can't make a full video. But what I can do is I can find like a picture of something that I saw on Facebook and I can screenshot it or something like that, like a meme. And then I can dance in front of it and just be like, and put some funky music. And that's it. That's literally it. Like if you can bust out some dance moves or just like bring some like smiling face into it, that's cool too. So you kind of want like the 15-second videos, which can kind of like serve as boosting your algorithm. And then those lead into the 1-minute videos. And then it's more of the 1-minute videos that are going to be a bit more of the personal connection. But the 15-second videos are still a great way to just like demonstrate your energy. And again, the other thing that's really valuable is that you want to be able to provide content that is valuable for people, not just because it's going to entertain them, but because it's going to make them feel a certain way. So how can you focus on providing content that is going to elicit feeling? And what feelings do you want to elicit? Do you want to elicit feelings where people feel empowered? Do you want to elicit feelings where people maybe feel like, you know, like very like meditative and calm and things like that? So allow yourself to be able to reflect on the idea of, as I'm making this, what is the person going to feel out of this? Because the feeling is the core of the relationship. And that's where, again, I get this with all the time, right? Like people come in my content and they're like, I keep coming back to your content because I like the way it makes me feel. Like that's not literally what they'll say, but it's obviously something, right? I bring my smiling energy into it. It's funny, it's lighthearted. Sometimes it's serious and things like that. It's a little bit of variety. It's playful. And then because of that, people are just like, yo, this is different. This stands out. And I like the relationship that's developing here. It's not me. It's not belittling me. It's not stupid. It's not evoking drama and things like that. Like seriously, I've seen some people, like they're like big creators and they'll be like creating all this content and then they'll make one video and it just makes me scratch my head. I'm just like, dude, like what were you thinking there? Like they'll just create something that will just like it's like clearly designed to piss off half their audience or something like that. And I'm like, but that's what some people are using for their platform. Like some people, they just have a different intention with it. For some people, they're just like, this is like chaos magic, you know? So it's like literally them just kind of like holding space for just like trying to elicit all sorts of responses. And that's okay if that's what you're trying to do, but don't intentionally do that. Unless it's something that you're trying to do for this, because again, you want to be able to create that healthy environment for the community. And again, and even keep an idea of kind of like the bigger mythos of your videos. Your videos should actually kind of like carry with them kind of like this overarching theme. And what is the overarching theme for us within our community? Again, this is a theme of kind of like helping people tap into their inner hero. You know, it's helping them kind of like awaken their inner light guardian, so to speak. So within that, each video can kind of go back to that theme, you know, like what is the story that you are trying to tell? So each video, even though it may be a specific topic, is helping bring more awareness into them developing, you know, awareness of their own mind, body, spirit, so that they can rise into their power as conscious creators and leaders, so to speak, superheroes, whatever you want to call it. The other thing that you can do, this is just a side note, is to create like some sort of cute nickname or badass nickname for your community members. For example, with us, Shifters. We're in the Paradigm Shift Central community. We call ourselves Shifters, Paradigm Shifters. We also go by Light Guardians. That's another one there. Find a cute name or a badass name that works well with your community members and kind of use that within your dialogue as you're talking to them and everything like that. And that can also be worked into your Discord, into your Patreon. Give them a sense of identity. Give them something where they feel like they are a part of something. They feel it invites them to see themselves within a bigger story. So if you can think of some sort of name, you know, like I'm just trying to think, you know, like this is off the top of my head. Like I know like Kristen, her name's like Pin Oak. So it's like all about like trees and things like that. You know, it's like maybe you're calling them like seedlings or something like that. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Sprouts. You could call them sprouts. I mean, hey, what's up, sprouts? Like, I don't know, something like that. It's like referring to their growth. Like that could be a thing. You can use that. That's cool. Let's see. And Brianna's talking all about like golden guy and stuff like that. What could Brianna do? I mean, Brianna refers to their community as like high vibe humans and everything like that. So that's kind of it. That's already it. You're like, hey, high vibe humans. That's kind of it. Brianna, before you jump out, do you want to just jump in here real quick and just let me know if there's any feedback, because I know you're just about to leave, or any gratitude you want to express. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, no worries. Thank you, Brendan. I just wanted to say like this, you've been a really big motivator behind getting my Patreon started and really getting it off the ground. Like currently, all I really offer are low tier items like a monthly meditation and a monthly card reading that connects to the meditation as well. So they kind of go hand in hand, but they're on different tiers. So like that's one incentive. But every time I listen to these chats, I get new ideas about how to run that. So thank you very much, especially with like naming the community and trying to make that the reason you invite people in is that you're inviting them into something that's going to benefit them in the long run. So thank you, Brendan, for all of your inspirational words.
Cool. Thank you as well, Brianna, for rocking it. And yeah, and Brianna, like, don't be afraid to like begin reformatting your tarot readings. I know that you do like a lot of those for free and stuff like that, but again, if you keep doing that, people are going to keep expecting it. So maybe kind of find a way where you're playing with the tarot readings a little bit differently, but it's up to you, because I know the tarot readings are a great way to provide value. And also when you do them, they're a great invite for you to be like, hey, and if you want to work with me further and stuff like that. So I think, yeah, just feeling it out, but I think you're already moving in the right direction. So yeah. Just don't give too much away for free.
It helps me brainstorm.
Yeah. No problem. Cool. All right. So you have to head out now. Is that true, Brianna? Is that you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
Talk
cool.
To you
All right.
later.
Thanks.
Bye, everyone.
See you later, Brian. See you tomorrow. All right. Talk to you later. Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll get close to wrapping this up in the next little minute. I know we got Oleg, we got Lise, Luna, Kristen, Justine, still on here. Let me, just opening up the microphone. Christine, go ahead. Sorry, Kristen. Go ahead when you're ready.
Cool. Thank you so much, Brendan. I just wanted to give you so much gratitude for this beautiful space. You're always so supportive, and everything you say is always so valuable, and I just really appreciate it. And just being able to learn from each other as well is a beautiful opportunity. So thank you all for being here and bringing your energy and your questions to learn and grow. But my big question, so I kind of I've been kind of working a lot behind the scenes, doing a lot of connecting with all my social media platforms. But I guess the place I'm at right now is how do I connect them all together? Because I do have a little bit of a community going. And as far as Discord goes, I really like your idea of creating a new one. I didn't know if maybe there's an opportunity to make a Patreon level within the Discord I already have going. Maybe that is an option I could go, or if it's better to just create a whole new one. But I'm really to the point where I want to get the Patreon going and get my Discord connected to my YouTube and my TikTok and my Instagram and all of that. But it's kind of, I don't know, I guess I'm just kind of at a place where I'm like, how do I connect all the pieces together? So I have all these puzzle pieces. I just need to like make the puzzle whole. So is it just as simple as whenever I do create my Patreon, then plugging the link in, creating a link tree maybe? I don't know, it's kind of something I've been tossing around, or just loading all of my documents onto the YouTubes and connecting it through that and having just like a general connection page that I can copy and paste amongst all of my social media platforms, or kind of, I don't know, what would you suggest to be a good way to kind of navigate through connecting everything together?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's something that like clarity on that will kind of come over time. I think it's a great question. I think if anything, like right now, because like you even got like that Facebook group, I would kind of I would kind of like just like take a look at that Facebook group, see if it's accomplishing what you want to accomplish. And if you feel that like there's energy that you're putting into the Facebook group that isn't really like kind of like working in the same way you want to, because I know it happens on Facebook. It used to happen with me. I would post something and there would be like 1 like if I was lucky, right? Like I'd be like, hooray, 1 like or something like that, right? Like that's how ridiculous it is. What you may want to do is actually look at even just kind of like migrating people from the Facebook group into the Discord channel, and possibly again even into the new Discord channel as well, but eventually maybe even deciding if you want to close that Facebook group, but making sure that you're individually contacting those people and say like, hey, I'm making this decision for the better, this is going to help organize, this is way better than Facebook, this is going to help you get notifications way better and things like that. So a lot of it may be just kind of like the one-to-one communication. YouTube is definitely going to be good just as kind of like an archive, and then again with Discord you can kind of have like your individual channels where it could just be you posting specific content just for your YouTube. So you have like channels, again, kind of where I have ours for the broadcast announcements. I can only post in that because that's specific for that. So that may be something where it's like when I have new videos, they go up here in the Discord channel related to as I post them and things like that. And then just making sure that you're putting your Patreon link right at the top of your YouTube videos. Like even today when you're doing your meditation today, don't shy away from putting your Patreon right in the top of the video. Again, like even with the meditations, when you guys are doing guided meditations, all of those can become an invitation for people to be able to connect further. It will take a little bit of you kind of getting familiar with that, because I know you're going to be able to be like, oh, if I talk about that, that's going to turn some people off. Well, if it's going to turn those people off, they were never meant to be part of what it is that you had to share and begin with, right? That's their reflection and everything like that. Of course, you want to be able to find a way to do it in a tasteful way at the same time. And that's where, again, even when I do my meditations, I do it. I specifically mention the Patreon, and I mention it with gratitude, and I mention it with invitation, and I mention it kind of part way into the broadcast, so they're already engaged. And I'm like, oh, by the way, if you want to be able to connect further, here we go. Thank you, Patreon supporters. Move on to the next one. Don't really dawdle on it too long, but mention it. Let people know. So I think that's something that we'll probably be able to talk a little bit more about, Kristen. But yeah, like I think it may be worthwhile for you to literally just create a new Discord, and then just kind of like, before you even invite anyone, just see how it feels and just kind of like start fresh. And then even with the people already in your Discord, see if, you know, you might want to start inviting them over. And again, the people who have in your Discord, they love your content. They've already like been like getting so much value out of your content. So those are going to be like people that are going to help kind of like build that inner circle and stuff like that. And again, if you invite them, I think there's going to be people there that be like, yeah, you know, we're going to be happy to support. Like, it's going to be, I would hope that, you know, a bunch of us are going to be like kind of like crossing over into each other's Patreons, and that's okay. That's okay, because we can help build the foundation, and then eventually, again, you know, keep spreading out and keep doing the TikToks. You know, the TikToks are getting well. Those are rippling out there. And like you said, have the link tree in your profile on TikTok. Make sure your Patreon's right at the top. Keep it simple: Patreon, YouTube, Discord channel. And again, that's where the Discord channel, you can invite them in, but you have the public space, but then they don't get full access till they join on the Patreon type thing. Keeps it easy for you. And again, focuses the value there. So let's get close to wrapping this up because I want to see if we can finish this by the hour mark, because then I can upload this to Instagram. Otherwise, I have to edit and things like that. But Kristen, let me know later and we can talk more about that. Is that cool? Does that give you enough to go on? Cool. Okay. And you got an idea of what your next steps are at least? Okay, cool. All right. Okay, let's get close to wrapping this up. Oleg, did you want to, is there anything you can just let me know? How has this been for you, dude?
This is great. A lot of valuable advice. I was just wondering how do you decide like what's free for everyone and what should be going to, like the leading members? How do you decide that? Like, is the discussion topics like for yours, for example, like for everyone?
With mine, mine's a little bit different, but I encourage you guys to find a way that works with you. I focus on providing a lot of my content for free. There's only a few secret videos that I have. There will be more in the future and things like that. But a lot of it is, again, because I'm focused on just kind of like getting the content out there and building the team and inviting people in, but still having that exclusive stuff. The exclusive stuff should be, again, like for like specific discussions where you're facilitating, they're working one-on-one with you. When it's your individual like interaction, your time is valuable and you can put value on that. If you don't put value on that, then people will continue to take it for free. And again, that's not on them, that's on you. Like if you're just giving away your content for free all the time, the universe is just going to be like, okay, that's how you value your content as that. But once you start saying like, yeah, you know what? Like working with me for like an hour to be able to like dive deep into creative stuff with me in the group, like, dude, that's worth like $50 an hour or something like that. People will hear that and be like, sweet, yeah, okay, I feel that, So you're really kind of like echoing the value simply by just kind of like stating what the value is in the first place. But yeah, we can kind of work on stuff as we kind of go. But if you're like, are you thinking of creating a Discord as well? Is that something that you're thinking about, Oleg?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I started it. I'm not sure
cool.
how I'm gonna like organize it.
Okay, and again, that's something that I can help you with that. I kind of mentioned before, if you want to like add me in as an admin, I can help kind of create like the tiers and they're referred to as roles within Discord, and then different roles would have access to different channels. Again, you kind of have the basic way I do it: one channel, which is like your welcome, one channel, which is kind of like announcements, and then one channel that could even be like, like your Patreon tracker. That's what I do too. Lets people know. And that's another thing with your Patreon. Set milestones, set goals, communicate that, talk about it within your Instagram stories. Hey guys, we're working towards our first 20 signups. Once we do that, I'm going to release a new video. We're going to open up new parts of the project. Format it in a way where it's kind of like a video game, where as people begin to unlock things as a group, new things get unlocked for the collective type thing. And that makes it easier for you instead of just saying everything's available at once. Don't fully get into the next thing until you've kind of got that foundation ready. But yeah, communicate that. Be like, hey guys, we're working towards our next milestone, and then help people get involved with that as well. And then that's what you can communicate even during your broadcast and be like, hey guys, we're getting our first 10 signups and stuff like that. Help us reach our milestone. Celebrate it. Victory is a shared success. Make it something interactive. But yeah, Oleg, we can definitely talk more about like Discord and things like that. We can do a little bit more of that one-on-one when it works for you. So is there anything else you want to at the moment?
That's good if anyone else wants to ask anything. But,
okay.
Thank you.
Cool. Sweet, man. Yeah, and good job, because I know even yesterday, just after yesterday's meeting, like you've already like you went on lives and you were like interacting with people, and like how was that for you? Like how did that feel, just kind of getting on lives and stuff like that?
Oh, it was awesome. It was great. I just went on talking like for 2 hours straight.
Yeah.
Communicating with people, and then like, yeah, it was really awesome. And people, this one guy, I talked to him, he said it was like the best experience in his life. I'm like, I didn't even expect that to happen. Like, you know what I mean? Like unexpected surprises can happen.
That's awesome. Yeah, absolutely, dude. And again, like that just, those one-on-ones, those lives, like those are so valuable with building relationships. So whoever you talk to on live, those people may be people who may be your first Patreon supporters once you have things ready for the invite and stuff like that. Because again, like for those of us who are kind of building our foundation, regardless of if you have like 1 million followers or not, the people who are paying attention to you, they will respect the fact that you are putting yourselves out there, and they will look up to you as some sort of role model or someone that they admire. And for them, that can be a really big thing for them to kind of be able to interact with you on that level. And again, with the intention of you kind of bringing them up into their own level as well and celebrating their unique creativity. So again, in some form or another, I think all of us are here to be able to help support other creators in other people in stepping into their potential. in whatever specific niche that may be. Some of us may be kind of focused more on like the creative stuff. Lise, for example, who's in here, maybe more again on the voice activation. And again, it could be talking about being able to help do more of the inner work. It could be more on the external creative stuff. It's going to be kind of what you all have an expertise in something. Figure out what that expertise is, and then that becomes a value that you're going to provide for people through like the interactions in your community and things like that. So cool. Okay, team. Anybody else before we wrap things up? Justine, are you feeling good? You guys got an idea on your next steps?
I think Lise
Go
has a
ahead.
question, but yes, you answered
Oh,
mine.
Lise has sorry, I didn't have Lise on my view and webcam there. Okay, sorry, Lise, let's pass it over to you. Thank you, Lise, and thank you, Justine, for mentioning that. Lise, go ahead when you're ready. I'm welcome.
So yeah, super quick. It was just literally to bounce this idea off in regards to like the Patreon, because I've like decided to completely change the way that I'm using it. So I'm going to be starting a podcast. So like I want those two to be connected to each other, and for that like link to be obvious, because then the podcast is like an easier way for me to promote other kinds of work I'm doing, because the shorter kind of excerpts are quite challenging to like summarize broader concepts unless I rely on more of a like visual presentation. But yeah, and I feel like that's going to be an easier way for me to actually bring people on board to Patreon by like using the podcast as a way to like plug that. So yeah, I just wanted to like throw that into the space just because it's like a sounding board, but that is my intention, and it's also then becomes like the motivation for me to like jump off the diving board to actually get the podcast going, because I kind of like there is some resistance there, which is usually a good sign for me. Like it means that it's like a bit of nervousness, but in a good way, because it's like excitement as well. But yeah, I'm kind of hoping if I vocalize that in the space, then I'm like, I'm doing this, guys. It's happening. So yeah, I'm just kind of throwing that one out there. But yeah, thank you for your space holding and for sharing all that info. Like a lot of it's kind of like refreshing things that like you've spoken about before, but I'm kind of it's all good stuff. So nice one, thank you.
Awesome, thank you, Lise, and congratulations on already succeeding with your podcast. Like just like future reverse time theory wise, it's already there. It's already created, everything like that. It's already there. And we can talk more about this later. But are your podcasts going to be pre-recorded, or are you going to look at doing them live?
I think for the most part, like I'm gonna try to make them live like simultaneously, because that is like a good way to try and engage people that don't yet know about it. And yeah, like, but create topics basically, and then maybe as time goes on, or look at bringing other people in. And I actually, just as you were speaking about the Discord there, it kind of did spark off an idea for me about like in introducing like a subject, actually like bringing people on to like speak to them, like, oh, how do you feel about this like aspect or concept of voice, like as a way to sort of stimulate discussion on it, to like spread awareness about it before kind of getting into maybe more of a like, okay, this week the topic's going to be this, next week the topic's going to be that kind of thing, to actually build community that way through actually inviting people to share their voices first as well. So yeah, that's just I had.
Okay, cool. Yeah, like again, if you're doing it live, like that could be again similar format with us, where like people are on the podcast if they're on the Patreon, and then that's giving them a platform to even again kind of like promote their stuff or share their message and everything like that. Or it could be even something where you might have like specific guests on for the first hour, and then like other people join in partway through, and then it becomes like a bit of like a sounding board Q&A or something like that. With the podcast, you could almost do it where there's kind of like a limited version for the public, and then an extended version for like Patreon members. That could be an idea. Like I can't say for certain whether or not like that's like going to be like the primary thing that should be the focus right at the beginning. Building a Patreon around a podcast can be challenging because that's a lot of work. Like a lot of work goes into one podcast just to be able to communicate the Patreon for a small portion of that podcast. So I think in addition to what you're doing, Lise, I think the podcast is great, but I think it will also be valuable for you to just kind of get into the mindset of like even focusing on, again, how am I bringing people to the podcast in the first place? And that's going to be your short form content through Instagram and through TikTok and things like that. So, cause I know like you're not like fully as engaged on TikTok for the time being, but if you can get into that mindset of being able to understand that your work on TikTok is linked to the podcast, because that's what's going to help draw people in. I think that would be valuable. And again, that's just going to help build your audience and eventually help like increase the likelihood that more people who are going to find it are going to be people who are going to resonate with joining on the Patreon as well. But again, I think we can talk more about that later as well. But yeah, and at least anything you want to add on to that before we wrap this up? We'll wrap it up in a minute, but that's okay. Okay, cool. The other thing I was going to mention, I told you guys there was like something I was going to mention earlier and I just like totally couldn't remember what it was. Well, I remembered what it was. Basically all it is when you're creating 15-second videos for TikTok, utilize those as Instagram Reels. So that's incredibly, incredibly powerful, and make sure that you're using like good hashtags and stuff like that. My Instagram Reels in some cases are doing better than my TikToks. Like they're reaching more people and stuff like that. When I look at those, like there's some videos on there like that have like, yeah, like several thousand on them and things like that on TikTok maybe just didn't get whatever. The TikTok algorithm seems to be more inconsistent than the Instagram Reel algorithm and stuff like that. Obviously it's going to be relative to the size of your Instagram in the first place, but if you're creating a 15-second video for TikTok, upload it to Instagram Reel, and that's the value of creating the 15-second, because Instagram Reel only does 15 seconds. So when you're creating the long ones, re-upload those to Instagram at the same time, but also re-upload the 15-second ones to Instagram Reels. So Oleg, I know, I'm not exactly sure if you're uploading yours to Instagram Reels, but dude, yours, yeah, I'm sure there'd be some good stuff there that would blow up as well. Because again, you know, all that content, it's just expanding the reach, and that invites more people back into your content. So the small form content is always going to be super, super important. So do your best to make sure that doesn't fall to the wayside. Otherwise, you're going to invest. This will happen. You'll spend like 2 weeks creating a YouTube video. You'll pull your heart into it, and then you'll publish it. And then like 20 people will watch it and it will break your heart. And you'll be like, why did I do that? Or something like that. Like that hurts. So make sure that you're investing with yourself by making sure that you're building the community and making sure that you're providing value in short form and long term. And the short form is going to be the lead into the long term. So cool, team. All right. We're a little bit over time, so we're going to wrap this up. Any last, even just like gratitude before we wrap this up, or if you guys have any other questions, just let me know through DM on Discord or Instagram. And yeah, excited for the big podcast tomorrow, Envisioning the Future. That's going to be cool. So if you guys haven't yet, again, feel free to plug that, invite people in, and let us know in the team chat if you're going to be tuned in. After this, if you guys don't mind, if you can even just like plug in into the chat on like in our Discord server, just leave a little feedback, just like a little blurb, not like a testimonial, you can call it whatever you want. Just be like, oh, that was an awesome meeting. Just hype it up. And then other people who are new are going to see that and are going to be like, oh, I got to make sure I'm joined in for the next one, sort of thing. So before we wrap this up, guys, can we take a quick picture? Can I do a quick like screenshot with us all here? Is that cool? Okay, everybody like peace signs or something. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. May I post that to Instagram or whatever? Is that cool with you guys? Okay, cool, sweet. All right, guys, thank you so much. Okay, wave goodbye to everyone. We love you guys. You guys can unmute yourself and be like, bye, guys. We love you guys. We love you. Whoop, 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 whoop.
See you, everyone.
Awesome. Thanks, you guys. Go team.